Bearded Appliance Repair here. We are going to be looking at a Whirlpool side-by-side refrigerator ice maker today. We're going to be going through everything, how to test the ice maker, how the ice maker works, if it's going to be your water valve, certain things that I look for whenever I go out to these and I check them out and see what's going on with them. I'm going to go over everything with you guys, so this will be your one video for everything whenever it comes to this type of ice maker. So that's what you're here for. Stay tuned. We're going to get right into it. All right, folks, and here we go. Side-by-side Whirlpool fridge. There are a lot of these out there, so I'm sure this video will help a lot of people. First thing, you got to take the ice bucket out, give yourself some room. One of the first things I do whenever I come checking these things out is seeing if it has ice in it. If it has ice in it, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be your ice maker. It's either going to be your ice maker or the method of which it turns itself off, like that bell alarm there. We'll get into that in a second. Number 2 is making sure that this little slide here is clear of ice. If there is ice there, automatic water valve. You got a weeping water valve, and that's what's causing that ice built up there. You can clear it out and check to see if this ice maker will pump out ice, but it will only do it one time. If it does it one time and that ice is there again, that's how you know. That's your water valve. I've seen it too many times. Now there, if you got ice in your mold in your ice maker, that's usually an automatic ice maker, especially if it's a fridge like this where the ice bucket is directly below the ice maker. The only thing that'll keep that ice maker from running is that bell alarm. If that bell alarm is up, it's off, and the bell alarm is down like this one, that's on. So if there's ice in there, that thermostat inside of that thing's bad. There is one more check you want to do though, before you say it is your ice maker. You do want to make sure it gets power. We will get to that in a moment. But if you want to get this ice maker to move, if you want to test it out, there's a T and an H hole. That's where I put my jumper wire there. That's that thermostat we were talking about. How this thermostat works is whenever the water gets cold enough, 5 degrees or below, that's when it closes that thermostat, and it's like, okay, it's time to harvest. So if that bell alarm is up, it will not start because that bell alarm is pretty much the on-off switch. But if the bell alarm is down and it's cold enough, it should be, harvesting that ice and getting some more. On this one here, I have the T and the H jumped, so that motor should be running. And before, like if you see this and you have that T and the H jumped with the jumper wire, you want to make sure that that ice maker is getting power. So get yourself your multimeter out. There's indicators with these holes here telling you where to put them or what these holes actually are. This one here is your L. That's your line voltage coming in. That's your 120 coming to the ice maker. That's all this ice maker needs to work. All the logic is inside of the ice maker. So one of your leads go into the N, which is the neutral. So to have that closed circuit, you need to have one of your leads on the neutral, one of your leads on the line to see if this thing is getting power. If this thing is getting power and you are jumping that T and the H, nothing happens like this one, automatic ice maker. That's the problem with this one, and we will be replacing that ice maker in this video. But if you do not get power, it could be that little black wire there with that white piece right there. That is a fuse on these, and that thing can blow. So if that's the case, check wire or check the wire, on the refrigerator side, make sure there's power there. If there is power there, then you need to replace that fuse. But anyways, we're going to get into replacing this, and then while I'm replacing it, I'll tell you guys pretty much how this ice maker works. It's a simple design. It's beautiful how it works. These ice makers here, Whirlpool still makes them and puts them in their refrigerators today. And one reason why I say it is a awesome design is, those indicators on here, where I have the jumper wire arrows now is for the line voltage and for the water valve. So if you wanted to test the water valve, you can jump from the L to the water, and that should put water in your ice machine or your ice maker. If it don't, you'll probably have a bad water valve or low water or no water coming to the fridge at all, whether it's a plumbing problem or something like that. So that's just one little tip for you. You can test the water valve straight from the ice maker on these things. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm going to start getting this ice maker out now. There's just 3 1/4-inch screws that hold it on. You can just loosen the ones up top, but you got to take the one out on the bottom. They pretty much hang there. I tried showing you that a little bit ago. Hope you guys caught that. But a little bit about this ice maker. If you're having ice maker issues, one thing you do want to make sure is your freezer's cold enough. These things only work at 5 degrees or below. So if it's 15 degrees in your freezer, your food will seem like it's still frozen and everything, but it's not an ice maker issue, it's a cooling issue. So one thing to keep in mind, make sure your fridge is cold enough to make the ice. It needs to be cold enough. Another thing, if you're trying to jump this and get that motor to turn, I should have mentioned this earlier, but some of these you actually have to have that door switch closed. Some of these have ice buckets in the door, so you actually have more room in your freezer to put stuff instead of having that big old ice bucket there. So if you have one of those, a lot of times the ice maker won't run if the door is open. So you want to make sure that door switch is closed right there. On this one, it's not the case because the ice bucket is right underneath the ice maker. So you don't really have to worry about it. Oh, getting this ice maker out right here, guys. It is hardwired into the wall. So I actually have to get the connection out of the ice maker to actually remove this ice maker all the way. This is where the fuse I was talking about earlier is located. It's behind that little clip there. I may have already got it out, but yeah, you just gotta push that tab and that connection will come right out. And yeah, not much to it. Most refrigerators nowadays, they come out pretty much with the harness on them, and you just got a connection on the back end to disconnect. But you guys will see it if you guys are taking it out. You should be able to see something like that. Now, if you guys need this ice maker, I will have it linked in the description down below for you. Yeah, so if you need it, it does help out the channel and everything, guys. So yeah, if you need it, pick it up, use that link. I make a little bit off of it if you use it. So if you need it and you use it, I appreciate it. But yes, we'll talk about this ice maker here. One really important tip for you. This ice maker, the new one, does not come with a new bell arm. And what that bell arm is, we talked about it a little bit earlier, is pretty much the on-off switch. It automatically turns this ice maker off whenever it fills the bucket up with ice. It pushes that arm up, so it pretty much turns it off. You got to transfer that thing over. If you don't, your ice bucket's going to overfill. It won't stop. It'll keep making, and it'll keep making, and it'll keep making. So make sure you guys do that. Right here I am removing this harness that comes with it. This is usually what you see, guys, on these ice makers here. It usually comes with this. And this ice maker actually comes with multiple different harnesses. So which one that your fridge uses usually comes in this box. But again, important. Move this bell arm to the new ice maker. You'll be cleaning up a lot of ice if you don't. I've actually done it in the past where I forgot to transfer it over. It was, rookie mistake. Good thing I was a rookie at the time. But I had to go back out there and, apologize profusely and get him a new bell arm because I think I lost it. I think I threw it away. But that was like 6 years ago. It was a while ago. But anyways, don't make that mistake. Make sure that bell arm is on the new ice maker. So, not much putting it back in. It's pretty much opposite way you took it out. And you put it back in, you tighten it up tighten all the screws, get those back in, and then we'll jump in and we'll make sure that this ice maker works. And I'll show you what it's supposed to do on a normal harvest cycle and everything. So now we've gone over the ice maker in some pretty good detail. One thing that gives new technicians trouble is determining whether it's the ice maker or the water valve. So I'm probably going to use the rest of my time to talk about this. So, you know how I was saying this ice maker, all the logic is inside the ice maker, all it needs is power. Whenever you jump this with that T and the H and that motor starts to turn, whenever it gets to the end of the cycle, that's whenever it fills up with water. At the beginning of it, the beginning of the harvest, it turns on a heater. A heater's underneath its little metal bar, and that helps release the ice. So as those fingers sweep the ice out of the ice maker, that heat will loosen the ice cubes up pretty much, so it's easier for that motor to kick that ice out. And a lot of times that heater can go out too. So if you notice there's ice in your ice maker and you go to the T and the H, you try to jump it, and that motor's just gonna make it a noise. It's trying to turn, but it just won't. That heater's out, which is another automatic ice maker thing, which is when I was talking about earlier. If you find ice inside your ice maker, it's usually a bad ice maker, and that's another case where you'd want to replace the ice maker. But anyways, I said I was going to talk about the water and the water valve. So when this ice maker goes all the way around and gets to the point to where it sends water into this ice maker, that's when it sends 120 volts down to the water valve. So when I was talking about you can jump the L and the W and it will send power to that valve, which it will do it automatically when this thing's turning. We got that new ice maker in and that motor's turning. I will fast forward it so we're not waiting here for a good 5 minutes and you hear my beautiful voice talking about this thing. Whenever it gets all the way to the end, it will fill, but you can, test that right here just by jumping the L and the W. You don't have to do that. So one thing I should have mentioned, you can take that jumper wire out pretty much like 10 seconds after that motor starts to move, but the water's about to fill here right now and you'll see it. Alright, our ice maker filled up with water, and that's what it's supposed to do. You jump the T and the H, it goes all the way around, and at the end it's supposed to fill with water. If it goes all the way to the end and you hear a hum, like it's a the ice maker's working, it's sending power back to that valve. There's just no water getting to it. So that's either a plumbing problem or a bad water valve. An easy way to check to see if you got good water pressure on these side-by-sides is just getting water out of the dispenser in the door. And if you're getting water out of there, you got good water pressure. So in a situation where it's humming, not getting any water in it, it's likely going to be that water valve. If you're not getting any water out of that dispenser, whenever you try to run it, it's going to be a plumbing issue. It could also be both those solenoids are bad on the back, because there's two different ones. There's one solenoid for the water coming through the door, and then there's another solenoid for the ice maker only. What you want to do, which ideal if you're not getting any water out of anything, is making sure that water's back behind it at the valve. So you pretty much just turn the water off to the fridge, take that water line off, get yourself a bucket, put that water line in the bucket, turn it on, see if you got good water pressure. If you got good water pressure, it's going to be your valve on the fridge. If you don't have good water pressure, it's going to be a plumbing issue, and that's when I'm going to have to refer you to a plumber to try and find out what's going on there. But that's pretty much it on these guys. I mean, I believe I've gave you guys a lot of good information on these ice makers and what I actually do whenever I'm out here checking these things out. So, I mean, if y'all got any questions, comment below. I'm getting a lot of comments every day, so I will do what I can to answer any questions you guys may have for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If this helps, I mean, give me a like, subscribe, and I do appreciate y'all watching.